format's pretty easy. I don't want to insult the intelligence of my students, but I haven't gotten it from you guys with your first paper. So before you can write your rough draft, you have to pass an open notes quiz over MLA format. What is required and what is it supposed to look like? All the notes are going to be on the back wall without things covering them, so you can take them, and I will upload a copy of these notes so that you can see them. It's really about physical presentation of information. If you don't remember what's required to have when you put a quote into your paper, when you put information from a website into your paper, you have to give two things. Made it dramatic. One is you have to give the author's name. If you don't know the author's name, you give the title of the website or the title of the article. Okay? So that's what it defaults to. I don't know if you know what's coming up next. You have to give the page number. Now, if you're working in a PDF or you're reading The Outsiders, you get a page number. But if you're on the internet, you should use paragraph number. This is also what you use for your error assessment. You just count like, okay, I'm on this page. I'm in the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th paragraph as well. Let's move over here. Those are the two things that are required. So if you want to take this little quiz to say I'm good to write my paper, check each quote. Author's name, page number. If it has these, then you have to start looking at the formatting. So that's the first thing it has to have to be required. The first required thing it needs to have to be correct. Paraphrases are something that is going to be a pain in your butt. Because if you're writing all about articles, everything you write is pretty much a paraphrase. Okay, so anything you're finding on the internet that you're writing about, you're putting in your own words, that's a paraphrase. You have to have two for your paper. Okay? But mostly you will have more. And you're required to tell me where they start and where they end. I've had a kid have a whole paper be one paraphrase because they just took one article, started writing about what was in the article, and that's all their paper was. So for that case, they need to let me know where it begins. You can do it like this. And an article written by Maggie Smith. Check, we've got the author's name. She explains that parallel universes are scientifically possible. I read this article for a student yesterday. So when you get to the end, you put the page number or the paragraph number. Let's say that it was really long, because this is, whose topic is this? Nick Rolls, writing about parallel universes. It's totally cool. But if Nick takes more than one paragraph's information, if he has information from paragraphs 1 through 5, 2 through 8, he can also write it like this, but keep in mind the period always goes on the outside. So really you just have to look at your notes or be aware. The last thing is about plagiarism. We're going to run these through the plagiarism checker. I'm spending one of my 3 plagiarism checks for the year on this paper. When you go to put in direct quotes, you cover your butt by putting things from articles that are word for word in quotes. You'd never get in trouble. You never have to rewrite if your paper just had quotes that were covered, as far as you never tried to pass it off as your own work. You always put quotes saying, I got this from the internet. The same thing is true. Author's name, page number. You can do it this way and put it at the end. Author's name, page or paragraph number. Don't ever drop a quotation in. Give it a little lead in like Smith wrote or the quote explains. That's what those power words are for at the front of the room, as far as how to put in quotes into your paper, words that you can use. You're supposed to have 2 quotes and 2 paraphrases for your paper. These are going to stay up. Chad, go ahead and close that.